It's Harry's dream, OK? He wants to fulfil this dream. He would love King Charles to join him at the opening of the Invictus Games.
Something's moving.
Yeah, it does.
And something's moving, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah, I think that's possible. If the king wants it, it'll happen.
I feel like that is what Invictus Games was, but now I feel like it's just a PR stunt for the Sussex squad.
There could be a bit of grovelling on Harry's part. He may have to public apology, certainly to the Queen and his brother. He may have to sort of get down on his knees and apologise for that.
There's a date in the diary. If they get security, there are plans for the Duchess of Sussex to come over here this summer. I never thought she'd return.
She's basically said she doesn't want to ever come here again, and that's sort of what the public also doesn't want her to come. I think she's going to have to be prepared to be booed.
These photos of Marsh Farm, it's a ramshackle place. It's run down. Does he deserve this house, Samara? It's a big old house
no
that's
way.
been put together. No?
He doesn't. He barely deserves to be put up anywhere, in my opinion.
Welcome to Royal Exclusive, where this week Prince Harry is jetting back for a court case, but don't expect a reunion with the King yet, even though he will ask Charles to open his Invictus Games next year. Also, we discuss why the ongoing security row could see the return of not only Harry, Archie and Lilibet, but, wait for it, Meghan. We also look at Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's new home, and the Princess of Wales describes how she is grateful on her 44th birthday as she celebrates with an all-girls lunch. I'm The Sun's royal editor, Matt Wilkinson, and joining me to discuss all this and more is The Sun's royal photographer, Arthur Edwards, and news commentator, Samara Gill. Welcome to you both. We're expecting very soon Prince Harry to land in the UK if his court case against the newspaper goes ahead. However, Arthur, we don't think he's actually going to have a reunion with the King this time because we're told the King's going to be in Scotland and they may not actually be able to meet up. Do you think that's a wise decision?
Well, the way I look at it this way, Matt, it's father and son, and they've already had one meeting earlier this year, end of last year, sorry, where they got on pretty well together. And it's up to the King if he wants it. Harry just gets on a plane. I mean, this court case, I don't know how it's going to last, but he won't be here for all of it. He'll be here for 4 or 5 days, maybe. But then, at the end of it, he could just get on a plane and go meet his father. That's possible. My view is something's happening, Matt, because, when Harry lost twice to the Home Office, he lost the court case and the appeal for security. And now the papers are talking about, and people are talking about, maybe the security is coming back. Now, that may be a deal that probably the King's done. I don't know. Somebody's whispered in somebody's ear that, there's no way the King ever sees grandchildren unless he goes to California.
The royal household insist, and I get in trouble over this sometimes, even if I try and suggest it, that they say they have no input in whether Harry gets his security, and I've got to believe them. It's a kind of government thing. But you're right, the King's an important man. If he whispers to someone, can we try and help him get security?
Listen, I think the most important thing in all this is that we don't even know what Harry's children look like. We don't, they're supposed to be a prince and princess of the House of Windsor, and yet we don't even know what their faces look like. And I think that, to me, the best picture this year would be the King with Archie and Lilibet, a picture of them, and we'd all see what they look like, and it would be terrific. And maybe Harry and Meghan, this is possible because, this is his son. You don't never stop loving your children, and I think that this may never happen, but somehow I feel something's moving.
Yeah, it does.
And something's moving, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah, I think that's possible. If the King wants it, it'll happen.
So it's unlikely, we think, over the next couple of weeks when Harry's due to be in court. Yeah. The court, the case might end on the steps of the court case. So they often do before that, but it's likely that they will avoid each other for a week or so, which is probably sensible. However, Samara, this may not be the end of it. Because as we know, front page of The Sun, it's Harry's dream, OK? He wants to fulfil this dream. He would love King Charles to join him at the opening of the Invictus Games, which is being held in Birmingham. It's next summer, not this year, but next summer, so we're 18 months away. But there is a chance here that there's going to be an invite from Harry to his father. Do you think the King should accept it? Do you think it's, as Arthur does, that they should be seen together? Where do you stand on this?
If he wanted to see Harry, he could see him tomorrow. But it's quite clear that he doesn't want to see Harry. Yes, I agree. Harry, of course, would love to be pictured with the king publicly because that would help his flailing profile massively. I do think that's a massive goal for Harry this year. But I don't think the king should do it. I think that he has trashed the king. I mean, the BBC interview that he gave was only just a couple of months ago, if you think about it, the one that he did in LA, saying that actually the royal family did have a sort of hand in denying him security. He was accusing them of that. So I just think in Harry's case, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And the king's going to have to come out very strong on this if he wants to retain any scrap of dignity, in my opinion.
Well, it's a diplomatic issue because he's the head of state, he's the head of the armed forces, and usually when you have Invictus Games, Arthur, when we've both covered Invictus Games, the defence minister would be there, the head of state, the prime minister would all be invited. They haven't yet, but they will invite the king. And this is what Invictus say: we will issue invitations to members of the royal family in due course, and would very much welcome their presence.
Well, I think let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes this year with the king and Harry. Whether the king accepts or not, in many ways, I've worked with the king for many, many years now. He's a very kind man. He's a very decent man, and he a caring. And I used to refer to his son as my darling boy. You can't forget that. You can't forget rearing a child like that. You can't forget the terrible time when he had to tell Harry about his mother had died. Those things are so important, and it may happen. I don't know. It probably could happen. I don't know if it will or not. It's up to His Majesty. If he wants to do it, he'll do it.
Why do you think Harry wants it so bad? As I say, we reported that it's his dream. It's his dream to have his father there at Invictus Games. Invictus Games is very important to him. This
is Harry trying to make peace. Or this is Harry trying to seeking some sort of forgiveness. I don't know if it's going to happen like that. I mean, it's obviously that last meeting they had. Absolutely nothing's come out of that. Nobody knows what was said. We don't know what was said, but something could happen. There could be a bit of grovelling on Harry's part. He may have to public apology certainly to the Queen and his brother, or whatever things he's trashed. He may have to sort of get down on his knees and apologise for that. But whatever happens, anything's possible with his family. This is, if they want it, it'll happen. If they don't want it, it won't happen. And we won't know till when it comes around whether it happens or not. But, that Invictus Games, I mean, I did the very first one in Colorado Springs. And I'm telling you, it's fantastic. The way these soldiers wield themselves, these injured servicemen make an effort to sort of compete. And it's incredible. And Harry's just, he's a star for doing that. He's an absolute star for doing that.
I feel like that is what Invictus Games was, but now I feel like it's just a PR stunt for the Sussex squad and the Sussexes. I do think that what it is them showing this is what we are, this is Brand Sussex. I mean, I don't think it's about the wounded soldiers anymore, and I think that's half the reason that he's trying to find a photo op to try and rehab their brand. I just wish that it was more about those wounded soldiers and less about Harry and Meghan. But we can see even with Meghan's involvement, which we'll get into later, that it's just become a PR thing for them.
It's an interesting point because we've both been, as I say, to these events. I've been to The Hague and Dusseldorf, and we sent a colleague to Canada. And it's only raw photographers and raw reporters that go to cover the Invictus Games. It's not military defence reporters. It's not reporters reporting on disabilities or rehabilitation. If you didn't have Harry and Meghan there, people wouldn't report on it. That unfortunately is the truth. So they have to go there and add a bit of stardust. And this time he obviously wants the king to come next week.
It is. Will Meghan turn up? Will Meghan turn up? And when she turns up, it becomes the big. It's a big show.
Yeah. We did ask our viewers, our very intelligent viewers, and we love to hear the comments and read the comments from our viewers. But we did ask, should King Charles accept this offer to the Invictus Games? And I can guess which side of the camp you two are in here, but 93% said absolutely not, Harry's gone too far, which I assume you're in that camp. And you're in the 7% team, Arthur, which is, of course, they are father and son. We also have some comments from our wonderful viewers. I'm Sterling says, it's not an olive branch from Harry, it's Harry using the firm for more attention to the event and hence for himself, which I think you were talking about, Samara. We've got Rita O, and this is an interesting point. It's not about father and son, it's about the king supporting the veterans. I mean, that's the most important thing, then, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course, but, you know, it's all. I mean, he's never been to any of, no head of state's been to any of the Invictus Games yet. And because it's in Birmingham and it's possible that he could be going, you know. The king goes to the most amazing events. When you read what his diary does, you know, you think, why has he gone to this sort of remote place of Wales? But he does it because, you know, he gets invitations and, you know, I don't think we know is the real answer, but, you know, Tamara says it won't, but I think it might.
Well, Mary McCormick, 8166, wrote, "This is a family matter, father and son, none of our business." So that's us told, everybody. We should move on a little bit.
Yeah,
let's move on to, I mean, sticking with Invictus Games, sticking with Harry and Meghan. Apologies, but we need to go through a little bit more on the wonderful Sussexes. Meghan could well return this summer because the Invictus Games has a 12-month out countdown event in Birmingham. It's a date in the diary. If they get security, there are plans for the Duchess of Sussex to come over here this summer. I never thought she'd return.
Well, yeah, it's Britain, the country that she loves the most, isn't it? The country she said nothing bad about or made any series about, you know, the terrible history of Britain, etc. It's a very interesting move. I am actually really 50-50 on whether she will come or not. I mean, you're right. She's basically said she doesn't want to ever come here again, and that's sort of what the public also doesn't want her to come. I think she's going to have to be prepared to be booed. There will be booing. If
you remember with the Platinum Jubilee,
yes.
There was St Paul's Cathedral as the Sussexes went in. I was there. There was a smattering of boos. That was the last time she was caught. And then there was, remember at Windsor, when they went to the Long Walk after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and there was quite a hostile atmosphere to Meghan. Would you think those kind of things, would they have to prepare for them? Would she be put off by that kind of opposition?
I think she'll try and plan her trip around not having any of those sort of public events where the dislike of the public will be on full display. But I just don't see her. I mean, will she bring the kids? That's another question. You know, they haven't really stepped foot in this country properly. Do they even know that they're royal? Will it be weird for them to see what they're missing out on? I mean, I'd be pretty annoyed if I was penned up in California and I saw this life in Britain that I've, you know, lost out to because my parents made some irresponsible choices. So it will be very interesting. I think maybe if you're right, in terms of cameras and bringing sort of publicity to the Invictus Games, of course, her being there will be great for Harry, or at least just to get any sort of press, good or bad. So let's see, but I don't think the reception will be positive.
I was at St Paul's for that event too. I was in St Paul's and all I was concerned about was getting pictures of Meghan. And if you remember all the pictures of them leaving the cathedral, the pictures in the papers the following day was Meghan and Harry. Whatever you say about her, I mean, I'm not a big fan of hers, but somehow she just captivates people's interest. And this is just what's going on in America with these shows she's doing. I mean, I think they're terrible, but she's selling this stuff apparently, you know, the wine, the jam. I mean, you know, whatever this woman turns her hand to, she seems to crack it. And if she wants to come, she'll come. And she won't care about the booze. And I think she'll need police protection if she does come anyway, because I think someone could easily throw something at her. But, you know, I've not spoken to a woman over 30. And I ask them, what do you think about Meghan? And I've not heard one positive reply. She's not liked here, but I don't think that would worry her. If she could sell more jam by being here or a few more bottles of wine, you never know.
Well, I would imagine there would be jam if she came over to the Invictus. I remember with Invictus in The Hague, she'd written a book about a yellow bench, and there was a yellow bench there to promote her book. So she, I would imagine
she would use it commercially. She's used that title, the Duchess of Sussex, purely to make money with the interview with Oprah Winfrey, the Netflix shows. This one she's got on at the moment. She's making a pile of money, and she's now very famous in America, where before we never even heard of her. And she's just capitalised on it. If she wants to come, she wants to bring the kids, it'll be part of a deal. But it's possible, you know.
You
Not much
mentioned about the
light here.
opposition there from members of the public, which is, you know, it's well known. Let's not, you know, I'm sure she's aware of it as well. She's not clearly not the most popular person in the UK. I sometimes actually believe that her popularity has gone down since Megxit. I think it's at a low point. But Samara, has there been enough water under the bridge? Has she been relatively quiet for the last couple of years? Is Invictus Games a safe place? She'll be surrounded by friends. There won't be members of the public like there was outside St Paul's Cathedral. Would it be a safe place for her?
Well, if, you know, the invite's being extended to all the members of the royal family, maybe it won't be such a safe place for the royal family, because if they're there and she says anything to them and they say anything to her, you know, it could all be reported and leaked to the media as well. So I think it will absolutely be red hot with drama if she does step foot in the country. The safety element, the security element, I just think it's ridiculous, because she was very happy to walk the streets of Paris with basically no security from what I could see. So I think in terms of that, they're demanding too much if they think, oh, it's too unsafe for her to step foot in the country. I know that Harry said that. But yeah, in terms of an actual safe space for her to be, in terms of Invictus Games, yeah, probably. But she actually needs Invictus Games more than they need her at the moment, in my opinion. She needs it to boost her profile, because looking ahead for this year, she hasn't really got much on. There are a lot of deals that fell through last year. It wasn't a good year for her necessarily. So yes, maybe this will be a grab at some more attention.
You mentioned the word drama, and that's what it's all about. It is a drama. Will Meghan turn up? Will Harry meet the King? That they bring a certain amount of drama. Just to wrap up, if finally the whole Invictus Games, King, Meghan coming over, it is a drama. Do you think that would discourage the King or members of the royal family from wanting to get involved and be seen in this drama, Arthur?
Possibly. I mean, you know, the one person that won't be at the Invictus Games is William and Catherine. I mean, and almost, I'm sure, the Queen, because, you know, Harry written some really nasty things about them. So I don't know. We don't really know what's going to happen. It's all in there. You know, if Meghan comes, she's going to need a lot of security. But I remember after when Prince Charles got engaged to Camilla, and I thought then she would be subject to a lot of abuse. And I never saw it once.
Public abuse. I mean, she's quite low in the polls, but
when she was the third woman in the marriage and all this, and just after, a lot of people remember Diana, and I thought, you know, I actually said that publicly. I'm concerned that she'll be mocked and jeered at, and never seen it once. I've just seen people just embrace her. So, you know, we suspect that people probably don't like her, but would they do anything? I'm not sure. You know, maybe there's some cranks out there would, but you know what?
Well, that's the thing. In this whole kind of thing, we just need to be very clear that although we kind of, you know, suggest that Harry may be not needing his security, or say that Harry shouldn't have his taxpayer-funded armed security, and that people don't like Meghan, there's no way we're advocating any kind of, you know, people should be nice to them if they come over. Let's just make that quite clear. They deserve that kind of respect, right?
If they come, it'll be great. I think it'd be great if they bring the children. I think it would just be tremendous, because I really want to see what these kids. I want to hear them speak. I want to get American accents. I want to just sort of suddenly, you know, these are a prince and princess. I mean, the moment the Queen, our late Queen Elizabeth, passed, they got their titles. You know, she was very keen, Meghan, to do that. I don't know. I'd love to see it. I mean, that's my picture. I'd love to do this year. Them three. King and the two children.
It could happen.
It could happen, but I don't think it will.
I
don't think Meghan's going to be revealing the children for a charity event. I think she'll be revealing them for a fist of cash. That's what I think. And you know, she's not going to do it for free. She's been keeping them under lock and key. It's going to be a commercial opportunity, knowing her. And I also think, you know, one of Harry's close friends said his happiest place is still out on the road. So will he be leaving the kids and wife at home? Maybe. That's what he seems to be doing.
Well, I remember Meghan did say recently, she said that I think she spent 3 weeks away from her children. It was the hardest, the hardest time of her life. So it's unlikely that she'd come over without them.
Listen, I miss Harry, I tell you. I miss him badly, Harry. I loved him. I loved working with him.
Well, we'll see him lots this year, Arthur.
Well, you know,
right?
But he'll be going in and out the court, and, you know, he always looks so grumpy. But, no, I remember...
Personal for Arthur over here.
No, I really liked him. I got you know, it's some great fun with him. He's just a super guy to work with, and he's got this lovely, great cheerfulness about him, but I don't see it anymore, which is sad.
Right. Let's move on from Harry.
Okay.
Let's move on to a much more simpler and easier member of the royal family to talk about. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor.
Oh, yeah. That
there's
uncomplicated chap.
There's no drama there, is there? Look, we've been up to what we believe is a place called Marsh Farm.
It's
Marsh at Sandringham. Yeah. We've been looking at it this week, the last couple of days, and a lot of security fences are going up. A lot of work's being done on getting this house into shape for a former prince. We think that it should be, or we're led to believe that he should be out of or into his permanent home by Easter. However, he could be out of Royal Lodge and into a temporary place by the time of his birthday, his 66th birthday next month. These photos of Marsh Farm, it's a ramshackle place. It's run down. Is he going to be happy there, Arthur?
Well, I mean, people describe the Sandringham estate as not very nice, but I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just tree lined. It's absolutely where that farm is. It's not on. It's over by the other side of the road. You know, it's not in the actual estate, but it's part of it. And that's you know, to restore that house that time, they're going to have to have a massive amount of work done on it. And I don't think it's going to happen in April, because I've been talking to someone up there and he says it's really, really run down. No one's lived in it for a long while. And we'll see, like, you know, if he maybe leaving Royal Lodge before then, going somewhere temporary. But I don't think, I mean, if you're going to put him in that house, make it nice, you know. So they did it for Harry and Meghan. We spent a lot of money on their house and they didn't want it, but let's hope they do it, you know. I mean...
Does he deserve this house, Samara? It's a
No,
big old house
no
that's
way.
been put together. No?
He doesn't. He barely deserves to be put up anywhere, in my opinion. I mean, genuinely. I know you disagree with me, Arthur, but...
Well, listen, I'm not saying any more about it, because people don't like me hearing this.
No.
And it's true. I mean...
No, I think you're just fair when it comes to Andrew, and I think you look at, you know, forgiveness and allowing people to move on, which is part of the debate, which is absolutely
this
fine.
is what I think the King wants as well. That's why he's doing this. He's putting but I still think they're going to be paparazzi up there chasing him, and every time he goes out on his horse, pictures of him. I mean, when's it going to end? I don't know. I mean, he's not committed any crime. He's not wanted for. He's not a paedophile because he's not been convicted of any crime. He's just.
He paid a lot of money to go to Pizza
He just lied on
Express.
television. That was his biggest problem. If he'd have just said on television, "I'm sorry," he would have maybe got away with it. But it was the arrogance of of him on that television program was undoing, in my view. We got to sometimes say, "Okay, time's up." You know, I remember. I mean, our king is an amazing man, you know. He's, you know, people sort of, if you've been working with him all these years, you can see this compassion he's got, you know. And I think, you know, in the end of the day, it's his brother, and he's going to see his brother comfortable, you know. He's going to try and give him a peaceful life if he can. And I think, you know, it's probably the best thing he does move out of Royal Lodge and away from all that lot and try to start his life again. And never know, he might remarry, might meet someone beautiful and
who knows what might happen. Samara, new beginnings, compassion for Andrew up at Marsh Farm?
I mean, the reality of the situation is that, yes, Prince Andrew does, or just Andrew, sorry. Andrew likes the finer things in life, and obviously that was his hubris, to be honest, and sort of his downfall. And so I think optically it's a very good idea for the king to put him up in this sort of ramshackle place away from the public eye. I don't think the royal family wants to be seen as putting him up in anything sort of lavish or giving him any sort of special treatment. So I do think it's a good decision for them, and I just don't think he should sort of be receiving anything particularly special or shiny in the next few years and for the last part of his life. I think he should just go off into the shadows, and I think that's how the royal family want him to be perceived by the public. So it's not going to be the last that we hear from him, but hopefully he kind of just gets moved into there and out of Royal Lodge, and that's the end.
What would he do up there? What you know, he does a lot of horse riding. He doesn't have a job.
We saw those rainy photos.
You know, I mean, no purpose in life. You know, what's that? You know, we all need a purpose in life. You know, whatever it is, rearing your children, whatever. You know, he seems to just
Well,
be...
what should he do? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. We talk about personal life. He could do charity work.
He can do that, but at the moment, I think he's so depressed. I think he can do it, but I just hope he can turn his life around.
He's got grandkids. Can spend time with them.
Yeah, that's true.
But what can the family do? They can give him a new house. They can give him funding. He's actually got to go and do something himself if he actually wants.
Well, we'll see. He can
go and do something with charity, or speak out, or apologise, or do something.
It's also, there are the alleged victims who have a life sentence psychologically for what he potentially did to them. So I think I don't have sympathy on that front.
Okay, let's speak about the Princess of Wales. She turned 44. Did you watch the video? So we normally expect a photograph, but this time we got a video where she was talking about how she was grateful. Did you enjoy these videos, Arthur?
I enjoyed a couple of them enjoyed. I enjoyed the one, not enjoyed it, but when she talked to the nation about her cancer, I thought that was very moving. And the one when she said it was, it's coming to an end, I thought those were really uplifting certainly with people who have cancer. I thought that was tremendous, but. Walking in a park or walking around a tree, or to me, it's of no interest in that. It doesn't mean nothing to me. She's got lovely country house up at Sandringham. They've got lovely. They live in the country parks, like Great Windsor Park. It's around them all the time, so I imagine she enjoys it. But for me, they're boring. But the ones that she talked about her illness, I thought were tremendous. I thought that. Especially the first one, I thought it was incredible. Yeah.
This was the last of her seasonal videos. I think she's described how she was deeply grateful, and she was saying that nature has helped me heal. It's the last of the videos, but she's going to use this kind of this idea to push forward in many of her projects throughout the year.
Yes, I think she's always been good at giving us a lovely choreographed video, and I did think it was really nice. I mean, she's gone through this journey with her health very privately, and the public's given her a lot of grace as well as the media with that. And so, she's not sharing everything, that's for sure, but she's sharing as much as she's comfortable with. And that series, is it symbolic that is sort of the final chapter? Does it mean now that she's closing the door on that journey and foraying a little bit more into public life? I certainly hope so. I hope that she maybe does give a little bit more, because there's so much public interest in that woman. And I think that she should use her platform for even more good. And she should continue to do so. I think that she's had quite a few years now of complete privacy. Hopefully we get a little bit more next time.
Well, we're already seeing more, but there's also a lot of affection for her as well.
Lovely. She's the most loved, absolutely, yeah.
There was a really nice job last week. I was there at Charing Cross Hospital. We were expecting Prince William to turn up to meet health workers, because it's a really busy time. It's winter, we've got the flu virus and everything like that, and he was going to visit volunteers and commend them on their work. I was there a couple of minutes before he was due to arrive. Bombshell, Princess of Wales was turning up. And there was a wonderful moment where Catherine was sat with some volunteers. And one of the volunteers, her name was Maureen, I seem to remember. She's in her 80s, and she works with chemotherapy patients, is a volunteer. And she said, often visitors are there at the bedside for hours. And Catherine said, I know, and then touched William on his arm and said, we know. She's good in this area.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, she's just brilliant. That was a good thing to do there, turn up there. I thought, and surprise. Diana used to do that sometimes. She used to turn up unannounced, and I think it was a really special moment. Yeah, and then that with touching William like that was just, as you say, we know, and they're good marriage.
Samara, do you like a French bistro?
Oh, love a French bistro. Let's go.
Because Catherine, on her birthday, she went to a place called the Fungi Club. I hope I've said that right. Fungi Club in Hungerford, just near her parents' home, where she had a lunch with Carol and Pippa. I've looked at the menu. It's not the most expensive restaurant in the world. Like a croque monsieur for £9, dessert for £7. It was a nice little birthday lunch out with the girls.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a great sort of time. I think that's totally Catherine through and through. I mean, this is someone who started her princesshood by, you know, wearing Zara and accessible brands and, you know, being a sort of people's princess in that way. I think it shows that she's not left her roots, you know, she had very humble beginnings. And it also shows that for her values are about family, who she's spending the time with. She's not in Venice Beach or Beverly Hills, like her, you know, Meghan across the pond. So yeah, it shows the difference between the two royals and how they want to spend their time and how they want to be perceived as well.
It's a nice girls' lunch out, Arthur.
Yeah, very nice, yeah. And I think she doesn't go to Beverly Hills, but she does go to Mustique and places like that. So, you know, she does that as well. But I think that's a nice thing to do, yeah. I mean, and also she's a fun person. You know, when you get talking to her, she laughs and enjoys the conversation. So, you know, I think it's a great, on your birthday, you want to do what you want to do, and that's what she wanted, and I think that's just brilliant.
I think Samara wanted an invite, that's the only problem
Of
here.
course, yeah.
Join Carol and Pippa and Catherine.
Next time. I'm a fellow Capricorn. I think I do deserve an invite, you know. My birthday's coming up. Maybe I'll spend it there.
All right, just got time for our quick fire questions. So, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, turns 60 on Tuesday, 20th of January. But what would you buy her for her birthday, Arthur?
Oh, I tell you what I'd buy her. I'd buy her a beautiful bouquet of flowers because on the third, when she was first seeing Edward, and there was rumours about it, I was sent to where she worked on her birthday, and I thought, I'll call in a garage and buy a bunch of flowers. And you know what you get in garage flowers anyway, I came to her. And then a picture suddenly appeared of her at her desk with these flowers in a vase, and they looked terrible. And I remember at the conference they said, what a miserable photographer, we spent £5 on flowers for her. And I did at the time, I thought it was a good thing I did, but now I realise I should have made more of an effort. So a huge bouquet, yeah.
Well, no, in this place, you'd have had to try and get them on expenses, and they'd have turned it down anyway after £4 and £5. I
didn't say that loud enough.
No comment.
Not on expenses, not on company expenses, your own money. What would you buy Sophie for her birthday?
I'd buy her a medal for surviving royal life without suing anyone or starting a podcast. That's what I give Sophie. No, on a serious note, I'd probably give her something sort of... I feel like the royals love things that are homemade. Like, I know that Catherine on her first Christmas with the royal family sort of gave the Queen a jar of her chutney. Something like that. They always appreciate something that's not sort of overly lavish.
Great. So, I don't know if you read, it's not been confirmed, but we think it's pretty much nailed on, that Nigeria will be given a Windsor Castle state visit in March. But which country and leader would you like the King to host next?
I think I'd like, I thought about this actually. I think the thing where the King loved to go every year was to Ireland. After the Queen's great tour there, he wanted to keep up the goodwill between the two countries, and every year he'd go to a different part of Ireland. He can't do it now because he's head of state. And so if he invited the new Irish president to come to visit England officially, that means he could go back there. And because I think he'd love to do that. And, you know, I've covered every one of those trips in Ireland, and he's made such a difference there.
That'd be a great incoming state visit.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it'd be lovely. And it's never happened. We've had private visits from the prime ministers and presidents before, and he had a great relationship with the last president, Michael Higgins, and even had him stay with him at Dumfries House a few times. You know, so there's great relationship there. And I'd like to see, as he's king, he can't just go when he wants to. He has to be. You know, he's head of state now. It's difficult for him.
Samara, who should we roll the red carpet out if we cast our eyes around the world?
I think Giorgia Meloni from Italy. I think that would be, I mean, we know that the King loves Italy and so does the Queen. And I just think that'd be great. And she's sort of so different and unique in terms of European leaders. I think that'd be an interesting one.
Good idea. We went out to see her recently. I think they got on quite well. I'd like to see a bit more from Canada. I'd like to see Canada come over. I'd like to see the King to go back over to Canada soon. I'd like a bit more into it. He's only been there for 24 hours. I'd like to see a bit more with our Canadian friends, please. And finally, Zara and Mike Tyndall are currently having fun in Australia for the Magic Millions horse racing. However, past or present, Who are your favourite royal twosome?
For me, it's got to be, well, it's actually Zara and Mike are probably my favourites, but might go for Charlotte and Louis, actually, in terms of not that that they're together, but, you know, the dynamic between them is the best thing. I'm always sort of like watching the videos being like, they've got the best dynamic. She's always shutting him down and making him behave.
That's definitely worth to keep an eye on as they get older.
Yeah, that'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Who's your favourite royal twosome?
I think the King and Queen, really. I mean, I've worked a lot with them. I think they're just the magic pair of them, the way they react with each other, laughing all the time together and enjoying life together. And of course, what was brilliant about the Magic Millions is that no one knew about it in this country before they invited Zara and Mike. And I mean, it's a massive horse race. It's all on the beach. It's a 10-day event and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I think the horse was sold there yesterday for $2 million. I mean, it's massive, and you know, I want to see more of it. I'd like to see the racing on the beach here, you know, instead of Sandown and other places. No, I think the King and Queen is an amazing man, and so is Camilla, and I just think they're just stars, you know. They're both in there getting old but still full of fun and still full of vitality and getting out there doing the job.
And you get to see them a lot after as well, so your opinion on that
I do
is...
indeed, and I say I worked with him for many years now, and he's just a fine man. So, yeah, I've got nothing but huge respect for him and lovely Camilla, yeah.
Well, I'm going to follow Samara's lead, and I'm going to say William and George. I love seeing them at the football. I love seeing them out doing stuff together.
That is
I think
good.
they're a great twosome.
Good. I agree with that. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Twosome to watch, see how that grows. Thanks, guys. We've been through a lot, all the way from Meghan and Harry up to George and William. So I appreciate everything that we've been talking about. Right, that's all we have time for on this week's Royal Exclusive. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments as usual, and remember to subscribe to us here on our new Royal Exclusive YouTube channel for the latest on all things royal. We'll see you next week.